Welcome everyone to the live stream. Glad that you're here today. We, you can see the theme here is we're day 2 into December, and so we're going to celebrate Christmas. We're going to start getting into the spirit here. Thanks for joining us in Forward Thinking. We are so happy that you're here. If you are, let's just see here. Yeah, we've got some people coming in. I can see that right now. Hey, just wanted again to thank you for coming in. We talk about CRM software, add-on software, productivity software. We talk about business processes, best practices, lots of different things in this kind of a venue here. So let's, my name is Gary Robillard. For those who don't know me, we are streaming on multiple platforms today, and I'm glad that you're able to show up and spend some time with us. For those of you who came in after the fact and are watching the recording, welcome. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment area. They do pop up on my screen, so those who are on live, please go right ahead and put your questions in or comments as we're going through. So today we're going to talk about a few things with regards to Christmas. It's that time of the year, and over my experience over the 30 years that I've been in this industry, one of the biggest things we find is I see people scrambling. December hits, maybe even end of November, and people are scrambling to get their Christmas lists together. And typically what I've seen here in the past for when I've done assessments with companies, they're putting lists together on Excel spreadsheets. They hand the spreadsheet around. There are all sorts of stuff. People are checking off who they want on the list. And there's a better way to do it, a more effective way to do that with a CRM system. Now today we're going to be showing all of this with the Act CRM system, but this would work with any CRM system where you can put lists together. So that's what we're going to do. My printer decided it's going to do a cleaning here, so if you hear the noise, please excuse that. So let's kind of cover what we're going to go through today. First, we're going to, and again, we're going to be working with the Act CRM system. This would work with, or should work with, any CRM system. If yours doesn't do what we're going to be doing today, you may want to look at giving us a jingle and talking about the Act CRM. So let's just talk about what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about, first thing we're going to talk about is groups. And for some of you, okay, this isn't showing up. It was working a minute ago. Oh, great. For some reason, hang on here. You know, it's when you go live. I tested this left, right, and sideways a few minutes ago. And sure enough, when you go live, things things don't go the way you want. I was going to actually write this down on you and have it show up on the screen, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Don't know why. Hang on. Oh, I know why now. I know why. Hang on here. Let's, where are you? Where are you? Sorry about that, folks. I just got to find the camera. Where are you? Yeah, I know it's, there it is. There it is. There we go. I'd actually hidden it because I was doing something else. Anyways, we're going to talk about groups, or we're going to talk about lists. Same thing. So in your CRM system in Act, it's called groups. In other CRMs, it may be called lists or tags. There could be a number of different things. It's where you're pulling in your contents of your client base or your contacts in your database, and you're putting them into a list that you can use to communicate to in some fashion. We're also going to be talking about verifying email addresses. We want to make sure that the email addresses that you have are verified, because when you send out an email blast, if you're going to do an email blast, I mean, we could be talking about putting groups together to send out gifts out to people, send out Christmas cards or Christmas calendars. We could be doing an email blast. We're going to be talking about that, where you want to verify the emails if you're going to be sending it out through email. And then the last one we're going to do is distribution. Distribution. And that could be, like I said, gifts, doing a mail merge, to do a letter. Maybe you're going to send out a Christmas letter. Whatever it is, you can actually put all of that stuff together and have that all in one little package, and then speed up the process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about groups. Let's dive into, get into what we're talking about today. Alrighty. So here's the Act software. We're going to talk about groups on the left-hand side. Now, I'm not sure about your CRM, if you're coming in with you're using a different CRM. In Act, we use fields. So any field that you can think of in Act just about can be used to populate a group or list, whatever you want to call it. Let me get over to the right screen. Here we are. And so in here, I've got a bunch of different lists or groups, and we're going to just continue with the word groups here. And I've got one set up for Christmas with some subcategories. So I've got cards, fancy, not so fancy, e-cards, gifts, and then I actually got a second one here for mailing cards, fancy. I'm not sure why I had two. I must have been showing somebody something here. But if I look at these lists here, and oh, by the way, for those of you, I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on creating the groups. There is in the description area a link to a YouTube video that we did an extensive deep dive, if you will, on creating groups and various different ways of doing that. So I'm just going to show you one way today, and then we'll kind of move from there. But you can see in here, if I go to add remove contacts on the left-hand side here, let me just drive this over. If I click on here, you can see that there's two ways of creating groups. There's a static membership and there's dynamic. Static, you're manually adding people to the group, manually taking them out of the group. Dynamic, they're put into the group or removed from the group based on different field criteria. So if a person was a prospect and they were in the prospect group and you changed them to a customer or a client, then they would move out of the prospect group into the customer group. So it's really that simple. And you can see there's different criteria in this particular one. So the fancy cards, we're using three different fields. We're using that this is a primary contact, that this is a client, and they're a AAA client, meaning I've got to use a field called segmentation. So let me just go back here. So again, any field here like segmentation, again, we're working with an advisor template. This could be any database, any industry that you're in. The idea is the same. In mine, I have a little checkbox called Christmas, and I check it off if I want that person to get a Christmas card, an email, or what have you. And away you go. So you can add a field in. You can use different things like this one here has a communication. I could add in a drop-down list a checkbox saying that if they're going to get Christmas cards, fancy ones, or a gift, or what have you. So there's lots of different ways to do this. So let's just dive back into the groups here. So we got fancy, not so fancy. Let's see what the criteria is here. So not so fancy, they would be an A client or a AA client. AAA are getting the fancy ones. And then we've got E-card is blank because we're going to be adding to that one. We've got gifts. So gifts, again, these would be AAA clients. And I've also got myself pulled in there so that when the email or when it goes out, then I get a gift as well. And then again, we've got the fancy cards, and I use the same criteria, kind of pulling that in. So let's just show you how to add information to this, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have people submitting lists to an assistant or somebody like that who's going to collaborate all of this stuff together and put a list together. You want to have it on the go as you're going through the year, that it's populating into that Christmas group, and then when you're ready to send it off, away you go. We're going to keep this really simple. We're not going to use a checkbox or anything that's flagging it for Christmas. We're going to make it really simple. So let's move over here, and we're going to go add remove contacts, and we're going to, first of all, I'm going to add me to it, because I want, when this is going to be an email blast out, let's say, I want to make sure that I get a copy of it as well. So I'm just going to go over here to Robillard. and double click, puts me in there. And so now I'm going to get that. That'll show up here. And now I want to pull in from my database. And then this is a demo database. So I've got about 100 and some odd people in here. So I'm going to pull from the contact type field. And if they're a customer, let's see, we've got different criteria that we can use. So we're going to go contains, or we could use equals to. Doesn't really matter. It just depends if it's a multi-field that you would use contains. But in this case, we're going to say that they are a client. Add to list. And then when we go down here to preview, you'll see that there's 60 people that are clients. Now, we want to make sure that we're only getting people with email addresses. So we'll put a second part in here for email, and that it contains data, meaning there's something in there. So hopefully the email address is correct. We'll add that to the list. Now we'll preview. We're down to 45 because there was a few that didn't have email addresses. And then maybe the next thing is I want to make sure they haven't opted out from emails. Now, if this was just Christmas cards, I would do just the customer containing client or customer type. I wouldn't worry about the email. But if this is an email, make sure you're choosing email so that you're getting just the people who have email. So it depends on how you're using this. Because this is an e-card, we're going to be doing it this way. If this was just a fancy mail-out card, then we would just have clients. We wouldn't worry about email addresses. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, let's just go over here to Castle Consent. And Castle Consent is one that we added in here. Where are you? There we are. And we're going to choose does not contain opt out. Add to list. So if they've opted out of getting an email campaign, we want to make sure that we don't put them in the list, and nobody's opted out, so we're all good to go there. And you can use other criteria, but again, watch the other YouTube that's in the description area. All right, so now we have our target audience. We've got 46 people that we can do something with. So the question is now, what do we do with these people? Now, first of all, these people are getting e-cards, unlike the fancy cards or not so fancy cards. And I'm just going to go in here, and you'll see here that this criteria here doesn't have anything to do with the email address, right? Because we're mailing this out. So these ones would be good to go. Now, if this is going to be an email blast, an email Christmas card that you're going to send out, then what we want to do is verify the email address, because on an ongoing basis, people move, people change, people quit their job, and so they may not be, this email address from the start of the year may not be accurate. And so we're going to do a lookup here. You're going to hit the little magnifying glass, and we're going to pull up those contacts, and we're going to check them out to see if their email verification. Now, I'm going to remove all of these ones just for this demo, just so you can see how this works. And this is kind of an important thing, because if you're sending out from any kind of email blast, you want to make sure that you're keeping your email and or domain reputation clean and good, so that you don't get blacklisted. So I'm just going to really quickly edit, place field, and we're going to go, let's see here, email verification, and we're just going to get rid of those. And you'll see it's just removing them out of there, just so you can see how this works. Now I'm going to take these 46 people, and I'm going to check to see if they have a valid email address. Now we do this through Bright Verify. There's a product called Campaign Manager that we've created. It's actually going to be on sale. I believe it's next week, early next week. It'll be like for 2 days. It'll be on sale, 50% off. And this will give you the ability to check the verification, or do verification of your email. And basically it's right here. Now it's two parts to this. This is where you verify your email, and it's got a setup, but it also has, let me just find it here. Where are you? Where are you? I'm hitting so many wrong buttons today. There we are. All right, so this is what it looks like down here when you click on the campaign manager or campaign results. It will actually show you a list of all the campaigns you've got out. And again, this just works with the Act CRM. Then it'll show you, how many came through. It'll actually show you the what was the email that sent out and all the people that linked to it. So that's one part of it. The other part is going to be, let me just turn that off. The other part is going to be using Bright Verify to check and verify the email address. So we're going to do that right now. And this links directly to it. Now, you can, if you don't have the Act CRM software, you can export your stuff out, import it into Bright Verify, have it verify, then export it out of Bright Verify and import it into your CRM system. Way too much work. So that's why we programmed this, so that we'd just go in and do it. So watch, it's going to go through here, and it's going to check all the email addresses and add them in. And again, a lot of these are fictitious email addresses, or we're going to get very few valid ones. We're going to get a lot of invalid ones, but you get the idea that you want to check this off. And then we're going to add this verification in to the email group. Once we've done this, we're going to make one last modification. All right, so that's all good to go. So now what we can do is go back to our group. And this may be, you can watch this because it's recorded. You can watch it again. So now I'm going to go in here and say, now that we've done this verification, I'm going to go and edit the criteria one more time. And I'm just going to go in here and say email verification. There we are. And let's just say, I mean, there's the detailed one gives you more, the one in the video. So I'm just going to do this really simple. And contains, or does not contain, let's just say, contains verified. Valid, add to list, preview. So we have 33 that have the word valid in it. Now this one says invalid. So we want to change that to, wrong one. There we are. Instead of contains, because invalid also has the word valid in it. So we're going to change this to equals to valid. And we'll probably only have like one or two in there. Yeah, 4. Okay, so we're sending out to 4 people. All right, there we go. So there's our list down to 4 people who actually have valid email addresses. The idea is you understand the principle. You want to create the list, the group, then validate the email if you're sending it out through email, and that's what we're doing in this one. If you're not, if you're just sending out cards, then you don't have to worry about all of these steps, and you don't need that campaign manager app as well. So now, what's the next step? Now we're going to say distribution. So maybe we're going to send out to some people, we're going to send out fancy cards. Some people we're just going to send out an email blast saying Happy Merry Christmas or what have you. So if you're going to do labels for the, if you're going to do a letter, for an example, and you're going to pull it off, you can do a mail merge where you're going to go into write. And first of all, we're going to do fancy cards. We'll just use these 4. We'll look those up. And we're going to go over here to write. And then we can do a mail merge to a template. Don't worry about the error. I'm in it. This is a beta program I'm in right now as well. Then I can do a merge into Word. I'd set up a template, and again, there's another video that shows you how to do this. And I can merge the person's name, address, that sort of stuff into a letter or even a card if your printer has the ability to print on cards. And then you can merge that in. We're not going to go through that right now. We're just going to be talking about doing labels to put on the envelopes that you're going to put on, or the gifts. If you're going to send out gifts and you're packaging them up and you want to create labels, you can do the same thing. But just understand that you can do a mail merge to a document, and that document can be for a Christmas letter, or it could be for a Christmas card if, in fact, you can actually print on your Christmas card. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we are going to print off labels. And so I'm going to go up here to edit or file, sorry, and we're going to go over here to print. And it's going to bring up this little part here. And this has a lot where you can do address books, but what we're focusing on is labels. If you can print on envelopes, and again, it depends on your printer whether you can stack them in and you have a document feeder that you can actually feed that through, then you could do envelopes. The principle is going to be exactly the same as what I'm going to show you with the labels. So I've got a bunch of different labels. I've got some canned labels here that we done for this particular template, but let's just say an Avery 5160. I'm going to actually do this joint one here for the advisor to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to pick this particular one here, and I'm going to go print just so you can see what it looks like. Current lookup, yes. Preview it, yes. And then let's just press OK. And you'll see how it just does the labels and it puts them in the proper order. And I can just print those labels off, stick them on the envelopes, and Bob's your uncle. Now, if I want to print, let's just go one step further here. Let's go to print. And if you want a bigger one for like a Christmas gift that you're sending out, something like the Avery 8663 would do the job. Now, I recommend that you use one of the Avery ones that are in here. If you can do a custom one, but if you try to do a custom one, I promise you, you'll be there for hours, literally hours, trying to match up the vertical and horizontal position of the labels so that they all match up. So you're best to use one of the ones in here, or one of the, maybe there's one that represents that, but it's from a different manufacturer, but it says that it will work with the Avery what have you. So in this particular one, let's just go print this one. This was a larger form factor, and we'll press OK. And you'll see that this one does it a little bit bigger. I didn't use the proper merge codes in there, but you get the idea that they'll fit on a larger template. So in here, I just want to show you really quickly in this, when you go to print on these labels, and I'm going to use the larger label just to give you some education here on the structure of this particular one. So if I go into edit the template, this is what it looks like. And so you've got in here company or household name, you've got the address, you've got custom here. Now this custom is actually hidden fields. These are the fields up here, and you can see the different components, first name, last name. And if I just right mouse click over here and go edit scripts, this is what they call a custom strip. You don't have to use this. You can delete that and just put in the fields that belong there, like city, province, postal code. What this does, though, if the city and province are adjusting back and forth like this, so if you have something like Tabor, Alberta versus Lethbridge, Alberta, they're going to expand, and this will just adjust and expand at the bottom of the label to make it look proper as opposed to chunks. And so what I recommend is leaving the custom ones in there if you wish, and you can mess around with it, but if you're going to mess around with it, save it as something else. So we'll file, save as, and give it a different name so you're not messing up the original one, all right? But that's basically what the labels look like, and you can adjust them, and it works really, really well. All right, so labels. So again, you print your labels off, and away you go. Now, we're going to be doing going back to our groups, we're going to be sending out an email card. Now, anybody who has the Act CRM software has access to at least the basic Act marketing automation, which will allow you to send off 2,500 emails a month, and they would be single emails. Then you can go into the paid version where you can do all sorts of fancier stuff. But we're going to go through just the basics of sending out an email blast for Christmas cards. All right, so there's the Christmas cards. That's the group we're going to send it off to, so e-cards. So now we're going to go into marketing automation. And it's loading. All right. So we're going to, first of all, let me explain. I'm not going to go into great depths here. We're just going to show you how to set this up, and we will build one from scratch. Now, I've got some email templates off. I've already did a search for Christmas. And so this is what a Christmas template looks like. And a template is just a structure. It's not going to be your end result that you're going to put in, where you're going to put in all of the stuff. You can see here, it's basically a template. It's got just the gobbledygook for text in here, but it's a structure in here. And I'm just going to go into actions and go preview so you can see what this looks like. So this is what the email will look like when it goes out. And if I wanted to look at this as a mobile, what they would look like on their phone, that's what it would look like on their phone. And so that's a template. And by the way, if you're using the Act CRM software and you want this particular template, shoot me or put a message in the comments, because I don't have my email address on there, but put a comment in there saying, hey, would love to have this template. If you know my email address, it's gary@corelogix.ca. You can shoot me an email and say, hey, Gary, I'd love that template. I can distribute that template to you, and then you can just put your content in and off you go. Save you a little bit of time of doing some customization. And this particular template took quite a while to actually put together because you can actually see how the breaks are and stuff like that. It's quite took quite a bit of time to get to snow and all that other kind of stuff. So this is kind of the one that I use as well. So that's a template. Now, you don't have to use a template. I've got templates that I use, and then I'll tweak them year from year. But you can actually start right from the campaign. Now, in most cases where I'm saying to use the Act Marketing Automation or any automation stuff, I always recommend using a template first, creating a template first, and then pulling that template into your marketing campaign. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So we're going to do a new campaign. And I'm not going to copy one. I'm just going to go new. And I'm going to use a blank campaign to start with. And I'm going to give it a name. And we'll call this Christmas Test 2022. And we're going to go continue. And then it's going to ask me what group or list. And what was it? It was, let's go down here. It was our e-card. That's what we're going to send off to. Actually, just for argument's sake, I'm going to use my test one because just in case I hit the button and it sends it off, I want it to go to people I know. And so this is all set up. You can have it from and to. You can change the default who it's coming from and the default reply to if you'd like to in this particular one. And then it's going to come up with there's our Christmas test. I'm going to go into edit. And for those of you who haven't used any marketing automation, maybe you're using MailChimp or Constant Contact or one of those. I tell you, if you really want a really nice marketing automation that really does a marvelous job, the Act Marketing Automation is fantastic. All right, so we're in here. We're going to go into the email itself. And you can see that there's branches. You can build out a whole complex marketing automation campaign, but we're not doing that today. So we're gonna edit the content here. So this is just a basic content to start off with. Now, if I was going to pull in that template, let's just say you said, hey, Gary, send me that template. I sent you the template. Then what you'd do is you'd go in here and say, import my template. And I'm going to go Christmas. I believe it's just Christmas template. Let's see what that one is. That's the wrong one. This is a different one. This is more of a religious one if you want that type. Let's go and import my template again. It's the ZZ one. That's the one. All right, here we are. There's our template. So now you can go in and make your modifications and that sort of stuff. So that's how you could pull in an existing template. Now, I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm just going to go in and import template. And I'm going to do blank. Just use a blank one because I want to show you how to build this from scratch. All right, so it has in here some blocks. It has the, you have to have these three components. You have to have the company address, which is a merge field, company name, and also the unsubscribe. And then we go over to settings. If you're going to be doing settings, I'm going to put this up to 620 pixels because that's perfect for your mobile devices, but also for your regular stuff. And then I'm going to use my roles now. This is where you can put all your different roles. Like, how do you want it arranged? Do you want to put pictures, and do you want to put text and different things that you want to do? I'm going to add in another block here. So we got two blocks. And I'm going to, first of all, in this content here, this is what I can put in here. Titles, paragraphs, lists, images, buttons, dividers. I can put in spacers, social media. I can put tons of different items in here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to put in let's put in a picture. So what we want to do is we want to go into an image, drag that up to the top, and I'm going to go browse. And I can go and browse from pictures, maybe something I want to upload. If I don't have a picture, I can go search for free photos. Let's type in Christmas. And let's pick this one here. First one on the list. All right, so we're gonna insert that particular one. So now we want to clean that up a little bit. So let's just go in over here to, let's go in on the right-hand side, and we want to adjust this image. So it's going to pull up the image. And first of all, we're going to do is crop it. So we're going to bring it up like this. Maybe bring that down a bit. And then we're going to apply. And then we're going to add in some, let's add in some text. Don't like Times Roman. How about Pacifico? And text. Oh, we have to change it in there. Come on, there we are. So we go Merry Christmas. We're going to make that white. And we're going to change this to Pacifico, and we're going to move that up over here and make it a bit bigger, and then go apply and save. So now we'll have our little header in here, Merry Christmas, and now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting in some content. So I'm going to take my text, drop that into there, and this is where I can put in anything that I want to put in for Christmas. Hey, Merry Christmas, wish you the best. Maybe it's something to the effect that here's our hours of operation for the week of, what have you. So you can key in all of that information in here. I'm going to change this from kind of a gray to a black so the text is a little darker. And if you're going to be doing this, when you click in here, I would recommend for the people with the aged eyes, maybe going up to 16 point looks a little better, and put in a little bit of a spacing in between the text. So away you go. And then maybe what you want to do is put in your favorite YouTube video in there. Just maybe you found a holiday YouTube video. We can go back over to our content, and I'm going to grab a video, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm just going to add URL, and here's where you would add your URL. I'm not going to do it, but you could go get your favorite Christmas video, pop it in there, and you're off to the races. So you can, in fact, we would take this particular one and put it maybe under the text. There we go. So manipulate this any way you wish, and then when you're done, basically you save that. Then you're going to go into properties. You're going to put in what was the name of this. So you'll put in this Christmas 2022. And in the subject line, this is where you're going to put in hi. And then I recommend putting in a merge field like salutation. So it's going to go hi and then put the person's name in there. Just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. And then the only other thing is, if you're using the standard Act marketing automation, you have to go with the default unsubscribe. If you are using any of the paid ones, then you'll have the ability to have your own unsubscribed list where they don't unsubscribe from everything. You can have them choose from different mailing lists that you may have created. And then you go update, save, and then you'll go out of there and activate. Now I'm not going to activate that, but if I was, if it gives me this green check that everything looks good, I can go activate and it sends it off. And you can actually send it off at a different time. I can say, instead of instantly send it off at, let's just say, I want this to go on next Tuesday at, let's say, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, save. So now that will send it off on December 6th. And then press activate, and come December 6th, 10 a.m. Mountain, it's going to shoot that off. All right. So are there any questions? I'm looking in here. So Natalie's on here. Hey, Natalie, how you doing? Let's see. We've got some questions in here. And let's just pull Natalie up. All right. Do you need to remove from that field when you do the verification, or did you just... Okay. No, you don't need to remove. It will overwrite. So Natalie's referring back to when we were doing the email verification part there. No, you don't have to delete it like I did. It will automatically overwrite, and that's the nice thing about it. I was just showing you so you could see it actually populate. So that was just more for show. Yes, so that answers the second question you had. Okay, so she's asking about Bright Verify. Bright Verify, it is a service. It's really cheap. It's so worth it. I think it's less than a penny a ping. And so if you got, I mean, I've done my whole database and it cost me like $20 or something like that, and I've got about 4,000 records. So yeah, it's Bright Verify, and then you can get the campaign manager. It'll be on sale. I don't think it's today. I think it's on sale next week for a couple of days at 50% off. So it's worth getting if you don't have it. Natalie, I believe you guys may even have that. I'm not, or may have. Yeah, I think you have the campaign manager, but you will have to set up Bright Verify, and there is a video on that too. I'll see if I can find that for you. So if there's any other questions or comments for us, that's great. If you're not a subscriber on our YouTube channel, please do so. And if you're watching from either Facebook or LinkedIn, please check off if you like this. We're going to be doing more videos coming up. Or live streams. 2 weeks from today, we're doing a live stream, which is we're going to have a guest on. This is going to be great. We're going to be talking about sales. And this, the person that I'm bringing on, I won't say who it is yet. I'll keep it as a surprise. But we're going to be talking about the whole sales effort or sales part of any organization. And we're going to be talking about, well, how do we plan for 2023? What are some of the things, best practices that we can do? And we're not going to be talking about, the standard stuff, use SMART goals. They don't always work. We're going to be talking a little bit different stuff for those who are challenged in doing goals, for those who maybe are having some don't have a proper sales playbook in their organization. We're going to be talking about that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an open conversation. You guys will be able to ask questions, and it should be a blast. And that won't be. I don't think it's this coming next week. I think it's the week after that we're doing that, and that'll be a lot of fun. So thank you so much for attending today. Hopefully this has been beneficial. If you have any questions after the fact when you're watching the recording, please put them in the comments. I do check them, and we'll respond to you. Or you can just shoot me an email at gary@corelogix with an X.ca. Happy to correspond with you. Anyways, have yourself a great rest of your day. All the best. Merry Christmas.